So you've mastered paddling into whitewash and popping up. The next step is to actually move out to the break and start catching open-faced or green waves, essentially waves that haven't broken yet. This is where it starts to get really fun, but also really challenging. So the first thing we have to cover is actually where to sit when you're trying to catch open-faced waves. Paddle out towards the waves, but keep an eye on where the waves are actually breaking. From there, you want to paddle out a little bit further and sit maybe 10 to 15 feet beyond the break so that you can catch it as it's breaking. If you sit where the waves are breaking, it'll actually just break onto your back when you're paddling. You'll most likely be at a beach with other people, so find other surfers, look where they're sitting, and go sit at that same distance. Find the guy who's catching the most waves and see where he's sitting relative to where the wave is breaking. That's a good indication of where you will want to be. There is one fundamental difference between catching broken waves and unbroken waves, and I believe knowing this difference is the key to grasping how to catch waves. So if you are not catching waves, come back to this video and re-watch this concept. When you are catching broken waves close to shore, you are relying on energy moving forward. You are relying on the wave taking you and pushing you forward towards the beach. Now with an unbroken wave, you're actually relying on gravity to get you down the face of the wave. And this actually means a few things. As the wave approaches you, you must match the speed of the wave so it doesn't pass right underneath you. The nose of your board needs to be lower than the tail of your board. Now here's another key thing to remember. Once you feel that board start to pick up, really give it an extra paddle or two so you know that you're in it. Keep your head and chest close to the board, and then pop up. Paddling into waves should tire you out. These should be sprint paddles. And by sprint paddles, I just mean paddling your butt off. When you're paddling out to the break, you can take your time, you can paddle out a little bit slower, but time them right so you're going over whitewash correctly and you're not taking waves on the head. But paddling into a wave should be an all-out sprint paddle. So again, we're taking advantage of gravity to get us into the wave. We need to match the speed of the wave with our paddling, and once we feel that wave pick us up, give it an extra 1 or 2 insurance paddles and then pop up. Now, actually figuring out what wave to catch is just going to take time in the ocean and understanding how to read waves. If you are attempting to paddle into a wave too early, the wave won't be formed enough and there won't be enough energy there to get you moving forward. If you're too late, the wave will already be crashing, it'll break on your back, or you're actually in the whitewash. You want to find that in-between spot where the wave is just starting to stand up and curl. Here are a few things you can look to adjust when you start catching open-faced waves. Be more forward on your board than you would be when you're paddling into whitewash. Not so far forward that your nose is dipping into the water, but you want to be a little more forward so that you're planing correctly and paddling at maximum speed. Make sure you keep that back arched and those arms back when you're starting to pop up. Don't put them forward to stop yourself. If you start to feel like you're going to nosedive, what you can actually do is get those arms back and really arch your back, almost like you're going to pop up, and you should be able to save yourself from pearling. So you are going to nosedive or pearl. That's part of the learning process. Either you aren't paddling fast enough, you stood up too slow, your nose dipped in the water, or you're too far forward on the board. If you move back, there's a good chance that the wave will actually just keep going under you and you'll miss them. Remember what we talked about earlier. You're relying on gravity, so the nose of your board needs to be below the tail of your board. Don't wait too long to pop up. If you wait too long, you'll basically miss the wave and lose all your speed. Feel that wave pick you up, give it an extra paddle or two, and pop up. Look behind you as you're paddling into waves so you can adjust your speed as necessary. The only way you're going to learn is actually seeing what you're paddling into. You may be thinking you're paddling at the right time, but without looking, you may be actually misjudging it every time, and you might not even be close to catching the wave at the appropriate time. Don't worry about angling your takeoff when you're first starting. Just paddle straight towards the beach. Focus on catching that wave and pop up. You can advance to angling your pop up later on. If you are having a really hard time, just skip the pop up altogether. Paddle, 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 and really focus on getting into the wave just on your stomach. Sometimes all it takes is a few waves on your stomach to get that feel for what it's like to catch a wave. Once you get that feeling ingrained, you can go back to putting your energy into the pop-up and then surfing. So don't lose hope if it's taken you quite a few sessions to catch waves. If you need any help or tips or feedback on problems you're having, feel free to comment below or shoot me an email. In the next episode, we'll go over surf etiquette so you stay safe in the water and don't create any enemies. So stay tuned.